Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a lot to talk about. We have a big down the farm segment, but obviously we're going to talk about last night's big game with the Giants. The Dodgers got down 8-2 and came storming right back. Will Smith just continues to be a tremendous hitter with runners in scoring position. He got down to a 1-2 count, got himself back into a position to where he could get a pitch he could handle, nailed one up the middle. Mookie Betts looked better last night. Shohei Ohtani had a hell of a bat to start the game last night. A 9-pitch at bat to draw a walk. Then hit a home run in his second at bat. And then you had Ha-Seong Kim, who just absolutely is him, no doubt about it. And so there were some positives last night. The bullpen again was good. Lou Trevino, Anthony Bonda wasn't good last night. But Jack Dreyer, Lou Trevino, and crew, they did their job last night. So, and Matt Klein. So there were some positives. The biggest positive being the offense had massively struggled coming into last night. And when the Dodgers got down 8-2, I was like, this is over. I was thinking about just maybe not even watching the rest of the game, because when you talk about Logan Webb, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, some of the best strikeout stuff, and then the Giants, who have I haven't checked, like I was on my coach hold, I haven't checked the exact statistics lately, but if not the best bullpen in baseball, certainly one of them, you're faced an 8-2 deficit. I'm like, this game's over. And then all of a sudden, Michael Conforto hits a home run. Will Smith tacks on. All of a sudden, you're down 1, and you still have, 3 innings left to score that one run. Then you go quietly in the 8th. And in the 9th, you had it set up. You had both guys on, and Will Smith grounds into a double play. Of course, right there, you would not want anybody else on earth. Hey, Dave Jacobs from TikTok, thank you so much for joining. Nate Dogg, thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and type. If it looks like I'm looking down and doing that, that's because I am, because you have to type every once in a while to make sure they don't kick you off. So Dave Jacobs, Nate Dogg on TikTok. If you have any questions or any prospects you want to talk about, any topics about the Dodgers, just let me know. LB Sure, thank you for joining. So we have a great crowd logging in, a lot to talk about. So the Dodgers got down 8-2, came back, storming back 8-7, and really I thought at the end they were going to get over the hump. They just didn't quite do it. 7 straight that they've lost. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers right now? Again, it was good to see Michael Conforto have a good night. Michael Conforto made the incredible throw home that Will Smith. I think that runner was probably safe. It was kind of interesting. The only real angle that you could tell what probably was going to be a definitive look or not, the guy on deck, the hitter on deck, was actually doing his job and waving the runner to slide. That's what you do on deck whenever you're going to have a play at the plate. You tell the runner coming home, the on deck guy does, whether to get down and slide or which way to slide to. And because of that, the Giants guy was right in the way of the camera, and being right in the way of the camera, it looked to me like the foot got in there just barely in front of Will Smith's glove. I mean, you might disagree with that, but that's kind of the way I saw it. But you couldn't tell because of the Giant that was in the way there. So your stern father on TikTok, Intimidator, Natalia, Alex, thank you so much for joining. What a great crowd we're going to have logged in here on a Saturday afternoon to talk some Dodgers baseball. And don't forget, too, we're going to have a tremendous down the farm segment. We have Justin Robleski, who threw well last night. We have Alexis Diaz we're going to cover. We're going to cover the Vulcan change of Ryan Brown Cole. Thank you so much for joining on the YouTube side. Cannot wait for the challenge system, says Cole. The umpires continue to change the at-bat with their ball strike calling. Yeah, the challenge system is going to be used in the All-Star game. I love it. I think it works absolutely perfectly. I don't see any downside as far as why not to use it. I think it's absolutely perfect. Well, not perfect, but it's good enough right now. It's better than what you have. So let's bring it in and let's do it. So Dodgers got off to a good start last night with a good at bat from from Shohei Ohtani, and I'm thinking, okay, well, 9-pitch walk, let's go. And then Mookie Betts doesn't get on, then Freddie Freeman. Boy, Freddie Freeman is scuffling. And right now, this may be the biggest struggle that I've ever seen Freddie Freeman go through. And not just from a numbers perspective, I would have to research it and see if he's ever had a patch like this that has been this difficult for him, but just the way that he looks. I mean, like on the pop-up last night, some of the swings and misses, the Dodgers need a fly ball, and he looked overmatched. And then some of the swings and misses, on the swings and misses, to me, he doesn't look healthy. I mean, I'm just going to say it straight up. I just don't think on some of those pitches he looks like he's able to use the ankle, he's able to use the legs the way that he usually does, and because of that, it's really affecting the way that he plays offense. So maybe for Freddie Freeman, it's time for him to take an extended period off, maybe a couple of games in front of the All-Star break, then have the All-Star break, maybe even a couple of games after the All-Star break, a week, maybe two, see if we can recharge the batteries of Freddie Freeman. Because right now, I love the guy. He's the Hall of Famer. I wouldn't want anybody else to be the first baseman, obviously. But right now, the Dodgers need to do something. They have to intervene right there because he doesn't look healthy. I'll put it to you that way. When a guy like Freddie Freeman, a Hall of Famer, looks that outmatched, something else is going on underneath the hood. I mean, and it's obvious. You don't have to have inside information to know that. What a great crowd we have logging in on the TikTok side. Z White, user 8307, Mr. Bob, number 6, Dad, Vittorio, Italian, Melvin, Velvet Mike, thank you so much for joining. Hey, make sure and leave a comment on the TikTok side. That way I can read your comments. This can be driven by you. There's not a whole lot to talk about that we haven't talked about a lot already as of in the recent past. So let's let the crowd and TikTok, wow, the crowd, Arturo Radio, the crowd is really blowing up on the TikTok side. So let's make sure, let's have this driven by you. Don't just join in, leave a comment. Let's talk Dodgers baseball. We have a great crowd logging in on the YouTube side as well. On the Instagram side right now, we already have several logging in. We also are streaming live on X and Facebook. So Giants, yeah, Velvet Mike says Giants. And so, yeah, the Giants, hey, we talked about this yesterday. They are a head-scratching team because Matt Chapman had been going better substantially than in the last 7 games, even 15 games. Well, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring up that post last night. This is how head-scratching the Giants have been. Give me just a second here, like I always say when I'm by myself. Sometimes these things can get clunky just simply because I'm by myself and I have to scroll while I'm talking. But the Giants they've been very interesting as of late. Let me get up to, I actually have scrolled past that in the sense that a lot of their dudes have really been doing a lot better. I'm not going to find it, so let me just go here. So Willie Adames, we saw that last night. That double to right center was very impressive. He has a very upward plane swing. It's not a swing setup that I think as he ages will be able, I think he's going to have a Chris Taylor type descent because guys that swing up like that, as soon as you start not having the same type of bat speed, maybe your vision's not as good, your eye-hand coordination's not as good because you're older, those upward plane swings are very difficult. Hey, Chapman has only been back a week, and in those last 7 games that he's hit in, though, he has hit good, and he did not look good last night. But as far as Willie Adames, he has been going really well lately, and last night was very impressive for him. And we saw, Rafael Devers. I thought that was very impressive from Jack Dreyer last night. That sequence, I have it on my social media, where he threw the fastballs and then the back foot slider. That was impressive as well. So some of their dudes, hey, not Elliot Ramos. Elliot Ramos is struggling mightily right now. Are going better, but yet they've only scored like 4 runs. And coming into last night's game, and then in their last 7 games, they were 5-2 in that stretch. But yet they were having some amount of success. It's just kind of a weird team. I mean, the Giants, for me, are a team that are very dangerous. I have a hard time putting my thumb on them. They have the chance any given night to do exactly what they did last night. They can hit home runs. I thought the pitch by Dustin May on the first home run was a good pitch, and I just give the hitter credit for going down and getting it and hitting a home run on that. But Dustin May, let's get into him. Just the full Dustin May experience, to be honest with you. And we have, again, a great crowd logging in on TikTok. Honestly, Lee was like Teo out there in the outfield. We'll get into Teo here in just a second. We'll get into Hae-Sung Kim. But Dustin May, let's get into him. Looked great coming out of the gate. And I'm like, hey, last outing for Dustin May was fantastic. Maybe he can piggyback on that, have another fantastic outing last night. Didn't happen. Ran into trouble. Here's the issues with Dustin May. The pitches that aren't strikes are not competitive, and so he's not going to get swing and miss on them because they're balls out of the hand. He actually got a swing and miss out of Willie Adames on a strikeout that shocked me because the ball was never in the zone and ended up way out of the zone. But other than that, the balls, especially on the sweeper, are so uncompetitive that it's almost impossible for him to get swing and miss from major league hitters. So then he has to throw strikes to get swings, and then when he throws strikes like that, he gets ambushed for home runs, and then he walks too many people. So he's not competitive on his balls, walking too many guys, giving up home run balls because he's getting behind the count, and because he can't throw pitches that get guys to swing and miss because his balls are uncompetitive. So here we go last night thinking, hey, okay, Dustin May, we're going to have our second really nice outing in a row. We're building momentum towards, because we're running out of time, to be honest with you. I mean, it's already almost halfway through July, and I'm telling you, he's got, maybe 4 more starts to end this season. So what Dustin May needs to show is not that he has potential. We know that, or upside. We know that. We know he can do what he did, not last night, but the outing before. He has to be able to show the organization that he can be consistent. I mean, if Shohei Ohtani continues to ramp up and does well, Clayton Kershaw continues to pitch well, Yamamoto, he didn't pitch well last time, but he will be in that lineup as well. And then Justin Robleski, to be honest with you, if he keeps pitching well, he might have a shot, but Blake Snell's on his way back. So Dustin May, the Dodgers need to have time to evaluate not where he's at, but whether he can actually become consistent. They've given him this entire season to try to be consistent. And here on July 12th, I'm not sure that anybody in the Dodgers system, fans, broadcasters, GMs, I don't think anybody can make the definitive statement that Dustin May is consistent enough right now to put him ahead of any of the Clayton Kershaw, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Blake Snell if he comes back, probably Shohei Ohtani, even a Justin Robleski. Somebody like that. So that's the problem you have with Dustin May with last night's performance is you took a step back, and the step that you took back was not just in execution and losing the game. The step back was now we're back to, he's not been able to prove that he can be consistent, and that is a problem for moving forward and evaluating him whether he is a playoff candidate. So the TikTok crowd, thank you so much for joining. Leave your comments, please, on the game, and we'll get in some great Dodgers talk, and we will talk about last night's game, this series tonight. You got Clayton Kershaw going tonight, and in a game that the Dodgers really need to win. Like Coach Holt said yesterday, this is a game that, hey, just win a game, win one game. I really thought last night was set up that way, that the Dodgers came out, like I said, Shohei Ohtani hits a home run, he has the 2 great at-bats, and then you give up the big 5 spot, and it just kind of felt like, woe is me, here we go again. So what are your thoughts on Dustin May? Let's get into that. Dodgers 3 stolen bases, a good sign, given the Giants have Patrick Bailey behind the plate. Hey, Patrick Bailey is absolutely legit throwing the baseball. So here's what the Giants have. Here's what's scary about the Giants. They have a very good manager, no doubt about that, a guy who's been around the game for 100 years, who knows how to stay out of the way. They have a catcher that can contain the running game, which is what Jay's saying here. Although Hae-Sung Kim, nobody can contain him. We'll get into him here in a minute. They have good pitching, great pitching. They have Robbie Ray. They have Logan Webb, guys that can shut you down on any given day. They have other guys that can be good on any given day too. They have a dominant bullpen. They have 3 or 4 guys that could be superstars on any one given day. Rafael Devers, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames. And then they have guys like Heliot Ramos, who was really hot early in the season. He was hot the last time the Dodgers saw him in June. Not as hot right now, but that won't last forever. A guy like Yastrzemski, he's a guy that can be solid, and we've seen he can go and beat you. You got Lee in center field, who is their version of Ha-Seong Kim. Matter of fact, him and Hyun-Soo Lee and Ha-Seong Kim played together, and Hyun-Soo Lee was actually a mentor of Ha-Seong Kim. So very similar type dynamic player, and Lee in center field for the Giants. So the offense hasn't been great this year, but they have a lot of great, good pieces that you keep thinking, man, if these things all kind of come together and all these Dodgers guys start performing offensively the way they're capable of, to pair with their pitching, this Giants team could be an absolute problem. And we saw that last night. I mean, the Dodgers, to me, did a good job just getting back to within 8-7. So at this moment, of course, I can change my mind, like the direction of the wind can change. At this moment, on July 12th of 2025, I all year thought the Padres were the biggest threat to the Dodgers. Boy, I think the Giants are more complete just overall, and I just think they have a lot of weapons and things. It feels like they've built their roster to compete against the Dodgers. So I just think they're a bigger problem right now. Obviously, that speaks to that they're second place in the NL West, only 4 back. But is Shohei going is he going 2 or 3 today? Yeah, I said Clayton Kershaw. My bad on that. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani today, and I think he's going to go 3, and I think it's going to be interesting, especially if it's efficient. Now, if he goes out and drops a 25-pitch inning in the first inning, that's going to determine it. I think the Dodgers are hoping for 3, but I think it's going to be more about the pitch count on that. So what a crowd we have logged in on the TikTok side. Jay Good 1 asked that question, 2 or 3 for Shohei Ohtani. What do you think on the TikTok side, on the Instagram side, on the Facebook side? Hey, we have a question here on Instagram. What position is the Dodgers targeting the most in the upcoming draft? They've done I'll tell you this. Let's do this addition by subtraction. They've done a great job fulfilling the shortstop spot, and I think they're going to filter third base, second base with all the shortstops they have in-house, like Wilman Diaz, Oswaldo Osorio, Kellen Lindsey, and all those guys, Noah Miller, Alex Freeland, Sean McClain. They have just Emil Morales, all those guys. They have a ton of shortstops, and I think they can fill the rest of their infield positions with those guys. I think maybe a power-hitting corner infielder, like a first baseman, like they did with Chase Harlan. I think maybe some catchers. They'll get a couple of those, not in the draft, but they'll get those in the international signings. Outfield, they have a ton of firepower. Eduardo Quintero, Mike Sirota. They have, obviously, Josue De Paula. They have Zaire Hope. You've got, at the AA level, you've got Cole Myers, and you got a couple of really talented guys that haven't been able to put it together, in Chris Newell and Damon Keith. Now, Ryan Ward, I do believe, is a free agent after this year. I think you will lose him. So I definitely could see the Dodgers going and getting some young outfielders, and from that perspective, and then definitely they're always going to go after pitching. The pitching at the lower levels, at the starting side, you have guys like Sterling Paddock. You've got who's a lefty. You've got Wyatt Crowell, who's a lefty. You've got Patrick Copen, who's younger. Those are all guys that still need to grow. I do think they're going to hammer the pitching side like they did last year with a bunch of guys like a Wyatt Crowell and a guy who could start or be a bullpen guy, a Cam Day, a Luke Fox, somebody like that. So definitely they're going to hammer pitching. I think they have a good amount of left-handed pitching right now, and they have what they have right now too is good diversity. In the past they had, by the way, Nick Nestrini's back. He just got DFA'd by the Marlins. The Dodgers picked him up. So Nick Nestrini's going to go to the complex and from what I've been told, rumors are he's probably going to start in AAA Oklahoma City. That's unofficial. Super excited, though, to have Nick Nastrini back. So on the TikTok side, I think 3 for Ohtani. That's what I'm typing in right now. And, of course, that's going to depend on how many pitches he throws in the first inning, like we said. No Name, thank you so much for joining. Hey, Casey, who do you hope the Dodgers draft? I really haven't dove into all the draft prospects. That is such a time-consuming deal. Baseball America, I know all the D1 baseball, all those types of outlets do a great job with all those things. That's so time-consuming. I follow the Dodgers, all 5 teams, plus we're starting to dive into the complex. I really don't have time to dive into either the high schoolers or the college guys, so I'm going to have to pass on that. I'm not real strong on that side. Now, I will say this, No Name, once with the Dodgers, the draft is over, we will have an extensive article and draft show. We will cover every single one of the draft picks, and we will cover them extensively. So I'm more on the post side of that because I just don't have time to dive in to make predictions. That, in my opinion, will probably be wrong. Anyways, Jay, Dodgers should see if May can be a multi-inning reliever. He's a free agent after this season. Time to see if he can help in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying, Jay. It's trending right now to where you wouldn't trust him to be a starter. It's trending right now to where you're going to have enough numbers. If Blake Snell gets back the way we think, I forgot Tyler Glasnow. So Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Clayton Kershaw. It's trending that numbers-wise, you're not going to need him to be a starter. He's not proving to be consistent enough to be a starter. So if you want him to be a multi-inning reliever in the playoffs, I agree with you, Jay, with that theory to begin with, but I'll take you one step further. Let's just go ahead and do it now. Or soon, not now. Now's wrong because Snell's not back. Ohtani's only going 2, maybe 3 today. And so you still need the innings that he's giving you. Although I think you could bring up a Justin Robleski and you could cover those innings from that perspective. But as soon as you have the numbers game in your favor, go ahead and do it. Let's move Dustin May to the pen. Let's see what he can do there right in front of his free agent year at the end of this year. So I totally agree with you on that. So what a great crowd. Hey, Infinite Dodger, thank you so much for joining this live chat here. Infinite Dodger reporting for duty. Thank you so much for joining an Infinite Dodger. If you ever read his stuff on X or any of the wherever else, absolutely awesome. Just knows probably as much or more than I do about the Dodger system and the prospects. So super excited to have Infinite Dodger in the house. What a privilege it is to have you here. Manuel, Dodgers are losing 9 in a row. Nope, Manuel, we're not doing that again. You proved that you could not be trusted last time you were in here, and I'm not going to fall victim to that again. Ryan R., thank you so much for joining. Hey, again, I'm by myself. We got TikTok going. We've got Facebook. We got X. We've got YouTube. We've got Instagram. We've got it all. So I'm going back and forth. So if it's clunky a little bit, or if I'm pausing, or if it looks like I'm looking down or having to stop and type, I apologize for that, but I'm trying to keep everything going as much as I possibly can. So thank you so much for joining. 3 stolen bases are very encouraging for the Dodgers against Patrick Bailey. Hey, Ryan R. says, hope Ohtani gets through 3. I do too, 100%. LC, if Teo would have caught that fly ball and those 3 runs did not score, we would have won that game. Don't know if we'd have won the game because the transitive properties are tough. Maybe the Giants handle their offensive situations different. So the transitive properties to me are difficult to predict what would have happened in a scenario like that. But I will say the Teo and right field thing is frustrating me because, of course, right now it's tough because you have to have Tommy Edman at third base, at least some, because you can't make Miguel Rojas an everyday player. He won't make it. So you can't just put Tommy Edman in center every game and just leave Miguel Rojas at third base every game because I don't think Rojas will make that. So Edman's going to have to play some third base. But on the days Tommy Edman is not playing third base, please put Andy Paez in right field. And whoever you want in left field, whoever's playing better at the time between Teo and Michael Conforto. Conforto had a great game last night. If he continues to play like that, and Teo continues not to hit the ball consistently and not play good defense, then maybe you make that decision. But I would say Tommy Edman in center, Andy Paz in right. I've been very consistent with that all year long. I just, it frustrates me to see balls fall like that, but it is what it is. Cole says May runs into trouble in the fourth inning every game. Well, so let me tell you, let me throw this at you, Cole. What if he's a 3-inning reliever like Jay and I are saying? What if he's a multi-inning reliever and you're asking him to give you 3 innings? That solves that problem, and a lot of that is probably he just loses a little bit of feel, and he's just hasn't stacked enough innings yet to just kind of get through those down patches, like I was talking about with Justin Robleski the other day. I messaged and said, hey, man, you got yourself off the mat after his rough outing with Los Angeles, and the comment is, you're improving and you're getting better whenever your bad outings are not as bad as they used to be. So that's where we need to get with Dustin May, where he can minimize the bad outings. He has not been able to do that, but one way you might be able to do it artificially is by redefining his role and putting him in the bullpen. Ryan R. saying he's scared to throw in the zone because he knows he'll get rocked. He cannot blow it by them. So if that's the case and his balls are uncompetitive, then you have a situation to where it's going to be very difficult to consistently get outs, which means you need to shrink his window of time that he's facing other hitters. Let him go out there and see each hitter for the other team's lineup one time through, or bring him in maybe at the spot of the lineup where at their 6 hole, so he can face the 6, 7, 8, 9, or maybe the 5 hole, the bottom of the lineup, and then you can evaluate how he's pitching, what the matchups are like by the book, whether you let him even face the top of the lineup. So I think there's ways that you could handle that artificially, but we're not there yet with Dustin May because Blake Snell is not back. Shohei Ohtani is still the most he's thrown is 2 innings. So we're not quite there. Tyler Glass now, although he got to 5 innings the other day, he wasn't scheduled to go that long. He's not fully ramped back up yet. So you really can't do that until, in my opinion, 2 out of 3, Tyler Glass now, Shohei Ohtani, or Blake Snell, until 2 out of those 3 are ramped up for at least, now they may not go 5 innings, but from a physical perspective, they're ramped up to go at least 5 innings. I think when 2 out of those 3 are ramped up for at least those 5 innings, that's when you could pull the trigger on Dustin May. But before them, it's going to be a little bit premature because the numbers just of covering the innings would be difficult. Although, like I said, you could bring up a Justin Robleski type situation. LC says the offense showed up, but it was too late. Yeah, I thought they were going to get over the hump there in the 9th. Nobody you'd want at the plate more than Will Smith, who's hitting. He has the highest batting average in the National League by far, and then he's hitting over 400 with runners in scoring position. Nobody, including the Hall of Fame 3 at the top, I'll put it this way, nobody on the planet in all of baseball, any level, you'd rather have at the plate with runners in scoring position in that situation than Will Smith. No doubt about it. It's just baseball. He hit into the double play, and like LC's saying, you left yourself with 0 margin for error. Everything had to go perfect, and in one scenario it didn't, and that's why you lose the game. Anthony Bonda was a situation where he wasn't good again. I think the Dodgers are going to have to evaluate what they want to do with him. But I'll tell you, Jack Dreyer has to be climbing the trust tree. Has to be. I mean, this dude scored a 7th inning. Comebacks, we know, start with zeros, no doubt about that. So how about this for Jack Dreyer? ERA down to 3.02. Jack Dreyer's whip is 111. His average against is 111, and he's given up just 1 run in his last 7 innings. So Jack Dreyer, he is a guy that has been fantastic all year. He hit a little bit of a patch. Now he's back to being the Jack Dreyer. And just the injuries he dealt with, the way that he came back, just hitting the ground running, I don't think Dodgers fans even understand just how incredible the Jack Dreyer arc is. Just for him to get back to begin with. I mean, he should have just got back and just, like every other guy does, just ramp up slowly have success here and then kind of up and down this and there, and taking 2 or 3 years to get to the major leagues. But that dude, Dreyer, he forced the Dodgers to put him on the 40-man because the Dodgers don't prioritize. You know this. The Dodgers don't prioritize relievers, especially relievers that they have no track record on. He forced them to put them on the 40-man. Then he forced them to put them on the 26-man roster. Now he's forcing them to keep them on the 26-man roster and not up down him. And now I'll take it one step further. Jack Dreyer's forcing them to make him one of the guys at the top of the trust tree as we move forward if we have a race down the stretch or as we go into the playoffs. That's what Jack Dreyer's doing. Jack Dreyer right now, if it comes down to him or Anthony Bonda to finish the last 3 outs of a 9th inning, who you putting out there? I know who I'm putting out there, and that's going to be Jack Dreyer. I don't like to compare guys against each other because that's not a healthy thing to do in terms of the team element. But that's a compliment to Jack Dreyer. I trust him. He is in my trust tree. I think he needs to be in your trust tree. And I think he's already in the trust tree of Dave Roberts and management. It's a matter of how high he climbs in that tree at this point, I think. Teoscar has the worst at bat with runners and scoring position. Teoscar, I'll say this, he goes hot and cold. He has had some really nice at bats, like with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the past. It hasn't been lately. Actually, he had one the other day that was good. So Teoscar right now, he's one of the issues the Dodgers are having. He needs to get healthy, and he needs to get back to the Teoscar that we have grown to love. Hey, man, Jeff Roll, thank you so much for joining. We need to win today because I don't see us faring well against Robbie Ray tomorrow. And if you don't win today and you lose tomorrow, you get swept. Giants are back to within 2 games. And, man, there's no good in getting swept and losing 9 games in a row. I mean, there's no good to that. But there is some good to, like, a week or so ago, I thought the Dodgers were going to run away with this. I would have given you a way better chance they were going to win the NL West by 15 games than they would have done what they're doing right now and brought the Giants back into contention. But I'll say this, I don't mind if there's a race coming down the stretch. Now, I don't want it to be like it was 2 years ago to where the Dodgers and Giants fought it out so much. I really felt like the Dodgers were fatigued going into the playoffs. But I want it to be more like it was last year to where you're having to feel like you're having to fight and claw. You're having to be gritty and tough. You can't go big picture. You're having to live in the moment because the playoffs is all about being in the moment. And so if you go a month with not having to be in the moment and everything's big picture, that can be a situation that's hard to just flip that switch and be the same team that you have been all year. So I don't have a problem if there's a good race between the Dodgers coming down the stretch. That's not something that I'm scared or worried about. Even if the Giants catch the Dodgers and finish in first place, I don't have a problem being the wild card team. I don't. Personally, I think the Dodgers are going to be deep enough by the time the playoffs happen. They'll have enough pitching to handle a wild card round. And I think in a weird way, it'll maybe help the hitters stay consistent. So I don't dislike the fact that the race is close, that the Dodgers have to stay in the moment. I do obviously dislike the fact that the Dodgers coming into last night have not been hitting the ball very well and have lost 7 games in a row. Hey, Casey, LC, I think Shohei Ohtani, LC thinks Shohei Ohtani's going 3 or 4 today. Oh, Donnie Boy says May's trajectory reminds me of Buehler last year in some ways. Let's only hope that Dustin May can do what Walker Buehler did in a Game 7, or in a clinching game, not Game 7, but a clinching game in the World Series. And let's only hope the Dodgers actually get there. This version of the Dodgers will not make it to the World Series. Hell, this version of the Dodgers might not make the playoffs if you keep playing like this. Now, I think that's a little bit too knee-jerkish because this thing will swing back to the positive side. And hopefully with the offense the Dodgers played yesterday, that gave them some offensive momentum to get it swung back. Hey, Justin Sutterfield, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the $4.99 Super Chat. I'd like to see this lineup defensively. Mookie in center, Pages in left, Teo at first base, Freddie at second, Hae-Sung Kim at shortstop, Edman at third base, Muncy at excuse me, let me back up. Right field, Mookie. Center field, Pages. Left field, Teo. First base, Freddie. Second base, Hae-Sung Kim. Shortstop, Edman. Third base, Muncy. Catcher, Will Smith. Mookie struggles, can be playing shortstop because of the grind. I don't mind the idea of moving him off a shortstop, but I've been on record, Justin, as if you move him off a shortstop, because he's been a good defender, and it's not like he's a terrible offensive player, and he had a good night last night, and the thing I liked about his at-bats last night is he hit the ball hard. I like the fact that the ball was impacted. That's what I liked about Mookie last night. If I moved Mookie anywhere, it would be to second base. Tommy Edman and Hae-Sung Kim would man, and Miguel Rojas would man shortstop. That's how I would handle that situation if I moved Mookie Betts at all. But Justin, thank you so much for that wonderful super chat. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your awesome support. So thank you so much for that. Ryan R. says, if Snell comes back, I hope May gets rest first. Yeah, see, I think it's 2 out of 3 between Glasnow, Ohtani. Glasnow and Ohtani are closer. If those two can get up to 5 innings and then Snell comes back, at that point, I think that's when you can make the move with Dustin May. But we'll see, maybe Dustin May turns it around and is very consistent in his last however many starts he gets, 4 or so starts. LC, hey, Casey, there was times when Kim was in good spot for a small ball with Tommy at bat, and Tommy was swinging for the fences. I've said this many different times. I was not a fan, even back at the beginning of the year. Ask Austin. I have receipts. Go back to our shows back then. I am not in favor of even the nickname Tommy Tanks, because the Dodgers already have other guys that can hit home runs, especially when Muncy's in the lineup. Him and Teo, that's what they do, is they hit home runs. They strike out and they hit home runs, especially at that time. What we need out of the Dodgers, what we need out of Tommy Edman, is we need Tommy Baseball. We need him to be the guy that executes all of the winning baseball plays. So you have here's the deal. I mean, Hae-Sung Kim's going to steal second base, so the hit and run is probably out because you don't need to hit and run unless you just want to let Tommy Edman hit a ground ball to an infielder that's vacated his spot. So, but you could move him over with a bunt. You could hit behind a runner. You can hit, like Oral Horseshoe was talking about, the hard ground balls, line drive approach is definitely making its way back into the game with all the two scenes and more east and west arsenals. LC, you and I are on the exact same page. Long story short, like I like to do, or short story long. We need Tommy Baseball, not Tommy Tanks. My opinion. You might disagree with that. He probably would disagree with that. That's fine. The organization would probably disagree with that. But I think he needs to be one of the guys that executes the offensive game of baseball that makes the offense dynamic. That's kind of my view on that. Cole, Dodgers pitchers have no problem getting to 2 strikes on batters. The problem is they can't land their out pitch because their out pitches aren't competitive. Their ball's out of their hands. I totally agree with that. So I'm going to leave a comment here for my TikTokers. Hey, we have a comment here. M. Alf, thank you so much for joining. Elliot Tapia, Whitey Jess, thank you on TikTok. Wow, we have 108 viewers on TikTok. This is fantastic. This is awesome stuff. Hey, let's get some engagement. I want to make this show about you. I want to talk about the topics that you want to talk about. Hey, by the way, we have a great Down the Farm, Justin Robleski, the Vulcan Change of Ryan Brown, Jaron Elkins had a great night last night. So we have a lot to talk about. Patrick Copen was on the bump in the Down the Farm. If there's any prospects you want me to cover, make sure and let me know, because we're going to do it. They need that fire back. I think they're exhausted, says M. Alf. Great point, M. Alf. I said a couple of times that stretch in May and June where they were on the road playing so many days in a row, playing great teams. When will that manifest in exhaustion? When will you see the hangover from that? I agree totally, M. Alf. I definitely think this kind of swoon, if you will, is at least part in cause of a hangover from that grueling stretch the Dodgers have. But again, they did a great job of building a big enough cushion to where once you get over this hangover, you're fine. You start playing baseball again, build your lead back up. So great comment there, M. Alv. We have just a ton of viewers on the TikTok side. Thank you so much for joining. wow, that this is just a privilege and so exciting to have all of you TikTokers out there. We have a wonderful crowd also on YouTube. So wow, what a fun show this has been. This is a lot of fun when this is chat driven, no doubt about that. Vin 1988, my favorite handle, and it's not even close. When we lose in the past, it's because other teams were hot or better. Jeff Roll, we should be able to get to Landon Root today, beat him up like we beat him up last time we faced him. And again, the Dodgers need to. They have momentum from last night, although they lost. The offense gained a lot of momentum. You got Shohei Ohtani, Emmett Sheehan going. Emmett Sheehan has been really good. Shohei Ohtani has been dominant. Get a good 3 innings from Shohei. Get a really good 4 innings from Emmett Sheehan. Get to Landon Root. Have about a 5 or 6 run lead when you hand it over to the bullpen. Get Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates back out there. Let them do their thing better than they did last time out. And let's freaking go. Let's win a game. And let's take some, not just offensive momentum. Like last night, you got offensive momentum, but you lost the game, so you still didn't stop the overall 7-game losing streak. Let's stop the 7-game losing streak and build some real momentum going into tomorrow when you have to face Robbie Ray in a rubber match. And then if you could somehow win this game, which is a very winnable game, coming off your momentum from last night offensively, and then somehow figure out a way to win tomorrow's game and win the series, now you're back up to a 6-game lead. Through all of this crap we've been talking about, you would leave San Francisco with a 6-game lead. And barring a major collapse that I don't see happening, you've pretty much put a real dent into the Giants' ideas of coming back and surpassing the Dodgers in the NL West. I think the Giants, they have to win. They have to win 2 out of 3. They have to leave this series down 4, maybe even a sweep down 3 for this to be something that I think the Dodgers would be absolutely concerned about. But we'll see. And I say that because this offensive stretch is not going to stay the same. It's going to flip, and then the Dodgers are going to get more healthy on the mound. So the Dodgers are going to get better from here, not worse. So, hey, Voody, thank you so much for joining on the YouTube side. Win the next 2, and a lot will be forgotten. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Totally agree. Starts with the day. You got to continue the offensive momentum, and you got to go right in there and get this thing going. So today is a huge game. Hey, we have a bunch of comments. Let me back up. Craig Osterberg is in the house. Just makes Friedman get on his high horse and make some moves. I agree. That's why even if the Dodgers get swept and it becomes a 2-game lead, I'm not scared of that. Because, as a matter of fact, I think in some weird ways, that's good for the Dodgers because it makes them be more aggressive thinking about the trade deadline. It makes them get out of big picture mode, and it puts them in win now, in the moment mode. Justin Lamas, thank you so much for joining. He's talking about the race of 2021. That race he's talking about, I was wrong on my year. My apologies for that. Best division race ever with San Francisco winning 107 and us winning 106. My apologies on getting the dates wrong there. Thank you so much for getting the correct date there. I'm the type of person, if I make a mistake, a lot of people don't want to be corrected. I want to be stopped, and I want to be told where my error was because I want the correct information out there. I just want things to get right. I have a long background in officiating with my dad, who's in the Hall of Fame. As far as officials, he's called national championship games, Rose Bowls, all those kinds of things. I've officiated a lot in my day, so I just learned at a young age. It's not about trying to protect the way that you look or your ego. It's about getting things right. So if I say something wrong, please correct me every single time, because I do that quite a bit, and I just want to make sure that the correct information is out there. Hey, yeah, Jeff Roll says not to mention Peralta and Mizorowski right after the break with the Brewers. Yep. Deuce says, I trust products of the farm system Wrobo, Dryer, Kasperius over the poor free agent signings. I always trust those guys. That's because I've seen them a lot. So I love it. The more people that come into that trust tree type situation, like Deuce is saying, the better off. Ryan Arch says, I like Klein. He just needs to trust his fastball more, that he can blow by the hitters. I totally agree with that. Vin 1988, have faith in manager and front office. They are the best in the game. I definitely agree with that. Craig Osterberg says Ha-Seong Kim is looking good. Offense, defense, on the bases. He's electric. He does all the things that you want him to do. Cole says Dreyer's been great considering he was just put on the 40-man roster last summer. Vin says we are fine people. Trust the system. We have a great manager. We have a great front office. And we have guys getting healthy. So, hey, let's see. Captain Fido 100, thank you so much for joining. I'd rather see Wrobo than May on the mound. I'm with you. I'm there. Wrobo threw well last night for Oklahoma City. We're going to get his start down on the farm. Deuce says Roberts would rather be friends with the players than make the necessary moves. I would push back on that. So in today's day and age, this is probably the biggest part of managing, obviously, is the analytics. But it is creating an environment that each player can function in. We've seen the Dodgers DFA Austin Barnes. We've seen him DFA Chris Taylor. Everybody, the front office made it very clear in the offseason that there's no playing around here. Hey, we're not going to get complacent. We're playing for a World Series, and if you aren't on that board, you are going to get cut. So the players already know that. They don't need to be told that by Dave. So what Dave's job is to put them in the best frame of mind to go out and be the best version of themselves every single day that they play, both individually, then also as a team. Then if they're not performing like a Michael Conforto, then what's going to happen is they'll just get replaced. So I think the way that Dave Roberts builds relationships, and here's the other deal. He absolutely knows which buttons to push with each player. I know this for a fact. I've talked to probably 15 or 20 of those borderline guys that, the up-down guys that have a great relationship with Dave, and they will all tell you he is perfect, almost perfect at knowing exactly what your personality is right and pushing the right buttons from a personality perspective for each player. So I do think that he is very positive. I think sometimes positive comes off as soft, but I definitely don't think that absolutely is the case. Craig Osterberg says Teo's legs now can't cover right field. I agree. I totally agree. I think the Dodgers are afraid to tell their top players they need them to change positions for the good of the team. Now, I will say that. I don't think that's on Dave, though. I think that's a managerial decision. I don't think Dave is by himself the guy that says, hey, Freddie, we're going to give you 2 days off a week. Or, hey, Freddie, we're just going to sit you down for 3 games in front of the All-Star break, 3 games after the All-Star break, and we're going to pick back up from there. Hey, Mookie, you're moving to second base. Hey, Teo, you're moving to left field. I don't think that's in today's day and age, I know it seems like it should be, but in today's day and age, I just don't think that is especially in the Dodger system, a manager-only decision. I think that's a front office decision. That's a decision if the Dodgers decide to move Teo out of right field or Mookie off of short, or to give Freddie extra time to lay off, or the day after Shohei Ohtani pitches to not make him the DH. That's a decision that everybody together would make. So if they need to make those, I think the Dodgers have shown they'll make the tough decision. So I'll put it to you this way, Craig. I don't think they're afraid to make those decisions, but I think it just takes them forever to get there because we know this. Dave Roberts in this front office, they love veterans. They trust veterans. Veterans go to the front of the line of their trust tree, and trust for them in terms of predicting what's going to happen on the field is like probably the most important thing to them. So I wouldn't say they're afraid to make those decisions. I would say that it just takes them a long time to do. So M. Al says Kim would be Rookie of the Year if he had that playing time. I agree. I agree with that. That's another issue there. I think Ha-Seong Kim is an everyday player. It's not, like I put on my post last night, this is not rocket science about Ha-Seong Kim. Put him in there every day. Let him face what he needs to face. Let him get through his ups and downs, his bumps, and let's get after it. Especially now that you have the injuries. You don't have Kike Hernandez to play third base. Let's do it. Well, let's get on with it. We've seen how good Ha-Seong Kim is and what he brings to this team. So let me scroll down to the bottom, and then let me get back to the top. Let me do that. Hey, Jose, something is not right with Freddie the bat. I agree. He needs time off. Totally agree with that. Vin 1988, best handle on earth. Jose Mathematics, he gets more at-bats at the leadoff spot. So, yeah, Shohei Ohtani, you want him to get those extra at-bats throughout the season because he's the best player in baseball. And so that's why they leave him in that leadoff spot, is to give him the most amount of at-bats throughout the entire season and in one individual game. So, Vin, do you think the Dodgers could benefit more if Ohtani bats third? That was the question that was asked that I'm responding to. Yeah, so Jay, Giants starter Landon Roop is a good young rookie, can locate his curve, and will use it in any count. Yes? So what the Dodgers will do is they'll make him throw everything for strikes. And sometimes, like Ryan Pepiot learned this, it could be 2 inches off the plate, and the Dodgers won't swing at it, and what he thinks is going to be a strike isn't. What is a strike against all the other teams isn't. So we'll see if the Dodgers can outlast him from that perspective. I think they're gonna really be patient with Ralph. I think they're going to make him have to be pinpoint, and we'll see if the rookie can do it. But I agree, he is a very, very good young rookie pitcher, Jay. Thank you for that comment. Hey, Jeff Roll says Klein has good stuff if he can command it, and I think a part of that is what we talked about earlier. Just trust the fastball. The fastball strike leads to strike one. Strike one is the best pitch in baseball. Jose says, I hope Ohtani has a good game pitching. Ben 1998, Justin, great memory. Some of our moves are players coming back and talking about, remember when we faced, this is Justin Lamas' comment, the adversity in 2019, 2022, made no moves in the deadline and got our asses kicked. Yeah. So the deadline, I think the Dodgers are having, this stretch here is definitely showing them that they're going to have to, I think they're going to have to fix third base. Maybe left field, we'll see. You have options there. If you fix third base, then you, I don't think you have to fix both third base and left field, because if you fix third base, that moves Tommy Edman to center. Teo can go to left. Andy Paez in the right field. You have your depth. You have everything you need. Especially if Hassan Kim keeps playing well, because he can anchor second base. So, but I do think you need to be aggressive either at third base or left field. And to be honest with you, if Blake Snell gets healthy, if Tyler Glasnow gets healthy, Shohei Ohtani keeps pitching well, I don't think you really need to make a move at the trade deadline. For who? For what? I mean, other than a third baseman or a left fielder. One of those two. You don't need to replace both. One, I'd prefer third base. Figure out third base. You got to figure out third base one way or the other. Third base will figure out left field. The injured guys coming back will figure out your pitching staff. That moves Dustin May back to the bullpen. You're going to get Blake Trinan back, who's already in Oklahoma City. That's going to add to the back of that bullpen. So if you add Blake Trinan, Dustin May, to what you already have in Jack Dreyer, Alex Vesia, Ben Kasparius, Kirby Yates, I don't think you need more than that. I think instead of trying to spread things out and being the jack of all trades, I think you need to be the master of one. And the master of one is that third base. The master of one is that third base. Put all of your stakes in, all of your chips in to figure out third base. I don't know what that figure out is, but that's the only thing I would be concerned about right now if I was the Dodgers. Thinking about the trade deadline. Of course, you're going to make some minor moves for this and that, but I would not be going all out like for a Jack Flaherty or even a Michael Kopech. I would be going all out to figure out what you got to do at third base. So Bruce Davis says we need pitching. But here's what I'm saying, Bruce. You're getting pitching. You're getting ready to get Blake Snell. You're getting ready to get a fully ramped up Tyler Glasnow. You're getting ready to get a fully ramped up Shohei Ohtani. You're getting ready to get, you already have Justin Robleski. So at that point, I think you're fine. I think you just ride that out. I don't think you need to go and go get an expensive pitcher because whatever expensive pitcher you get, I don't think is going to have more upside than any of those guys. Cole says batting Ohtani first will let him see more bats. Yes, in the game and throughout the season. Paul Skeens would be a good addition. Yeah, no doubt about that. Says everybody on earth. Bruce Davis says, I don't trust that pen to win the World Series. Sorry, I don't want May at all. So Bruce Davis will eliminate May completely. You're going to get Blake Trinan back, and you have Kirby Yates. You got Tanner Scott, who was elite last year, who could be elite at any moment moving forward. Alex Vesia has been elite. Jack Dreyer has been absolutely awesome. And then also, when was the last time the Dodgers went and got a reliever at the trade deadline and a big, huge splash move that made a difference? Who is it? Who would it be? I mean, we're talking about Devin Williams at the beginning of the year, and he hasn't been good. We went and got the best one you could get, Tanner Scott, and to get the best one that you could go get in the offseason, Tanner Scott is one of the guys that we're talking about that you don't like the pin with. So who would it be? If you don't like Tanner Scott, if you didn't like Devin Williams, who would it be that the Dodgers could actually afford to go get that's actually realistic? I mean, don't give me Emmanuel Clase. They're not going to be able to go get that guy. So I guess my question is, who would it be that's going to be better than Dustin May and Blake Trinan? Who would that be? That would be my question. That's a great comment, though, Bruce. Hey, and we still have a great crowd on TikTok, and I'm going to type here. Let me know if you have any questions on anything. If you have any questions. So we're going to get that typed out. We're going to continue on with our wonderful chat. We have over 150 in the chat for TikTok. Vin, a lot of guys coming back just in time to get tuned up for the playoffs. I agree. Daniel Moreno, thank you so much for joining. That lead guy reminds me of Ichiro. Very similar swing. I agree. So Luch Trevino looked good last night. We've talked about Will Klein and the good work that he's done. Surprising the Dodgers came back on, to me it was very surprising that they came back on Logan Webb and then the bullpen for the Giants last night, because that's literally their strength. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to transition over to our Down on the Farm segment. Again, this is going to be live, so we're going to flip back and forth. I'm going to continue to monitor the chat as we do this. And so if you have any questions or any prospects you want me to cover, please let me know who they are, and we will absolutely get after it. Let me get things set up to where I can kind of do a little bit of everything all at once, and we will get after it from there. So, okay, so I'm going to flip it over on the board. I've got everything in place. I got the video up, and away we go. So here's Justin Wroblewski. This is from his start last night. Justin Wroblewski was very good for AAA Oklahoma City. Let me scroll down here. Matter of fact, he went 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. So Wroblewski last night retired the first 8 batters he faced. After the 9th batter hit a home run, that's the only run that he gave up all night. But the home run he gave up was on a slider that was so far down the zone that it was almost a ball. And so Justin Wroblewski was just absolutely spot on last night. He worked around a hit and a walk in the 5th. The first 2 hitters reached in the 6th. Then he got a strikeout and a double play ball. He was sitting on his fastball. He sat 95. He hit 98 with his fastball, which is great. We know he throws very hard. But his fastball was in zone 67%, and he was in zone 69% with his sinker. So he was a very good strike thrower, and his cutter was in the zone a lot too. So having 3 pitches he could rely on to get in the zone, that allowed him just to let it rip on his slider. And by letting it rip on his slider, he got a lot of strikeouts from that. And he also, his sinker and his slider, he basically threw them about the exact same amount. So Justin Wroblewski had a really, really nice outing last night for AAA Oklahoma City. He's like I said about him, he had the big clunker earlier in the season. He had the big clunker last year. He had a clunker in his last outing they all run together. Either it was his last outing or 2 outings ago with LA. And like he said, you're getting better whenever your clunkers are way less clunkers than they used to be. So that's Justin Wroblewski, all signs point north for him. So Justin Wroblewski is pitching very well. While he's looking, Bruce Davis says, wow, he's looking good. Bring him back up. We need pitching. Yes, I agree, Bruce. Justin Wroblewski looks very, very good at the moment. Hey, Vin, you have a great weekend, too. Thank you so much for joining. A lot of guys coming back, as you said, that we'll be relying on. This is Alexis Diaz that the Dodgers picked up a while back. Hey, Wrobo is solid, says whatchamacallit, Aiden Fuller. Hey, Dale Rayburn, I will cover Aiden Fuller here in just a minute when we get down to our Rancho segment. Dale Rayburn, thank you so much for asking about Aiden Fuller. I love Aiden Fuller, and so we will absolutely get to him here in just a second. So awesome question there. Let me get back to my sheet here. So this is Alexis Diaz. He threw a scoreless inning last night for AAA Oklahoma City. but it was not routine. It was a crazy inning. He struck out the first hitter with a nice slider, and then hell kind of broke loose on him. After the leadoff strikeout, the next hitter hit a routine fly ball to left field. Routine fly ball. C.J. Alexander, who usually plays first base, never saw it. Alex Freeland tried to go catch up with it, couldn't do it. So it ended up as a triple. So now you have a runner on third base and no outs. And then he hit the next batter. And I mean, this inning was going, see, there it is. Here's the routine fly ball. Freeland's trying to, then Freeland loses it. He can't find it. Neither guy can find the ball. C.J. Alexander finally has to track it down. There's your triple. Then he hits the next hitter. The inning's going downhill. And then so he has first and third one out. Got a double play ball to get out of the inning scoreless. That was fantastic. But to be honest with you, he didn't look great, I didn't think. I mean, his velo was 93 to 96. Spin did touch 26-19, which anything above 2,300 is good. And it did average 24-42, which is very good. And he did throw strikes with his fastball at 60% and his slider right at 50. So the underlying metrics for Alexis Diaz last night were good. And so if you want to look at it from that perspective, I think you could make the case that it was a very good outing, although it was very, very helter-skelter, although the routine fly ball in left field was not his fault at all. But he did hit the next guy, and then so it was kind of a crazy inning. I wanted to show you that. And then we move down to the Double-A level. This is Jermaine Rosario. Okay, we talk about him all the time. Rosario is that guy that is massively talented and will have a massively talented outing and then have a clunker. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. I love the fact they moved into relief. I think it took him a minute to get used to being in relief. But now that he's in relief and he's starting to stack outings, I think he's starting to look like the Jermaine Rosario that everybody expected him to be out of the relief role. So Jermaine Rosario had another great outing last night, another scoreless outing, and he's given up just 2 runs now, Jermaine Rosario, in his last 10.1 innings. We know the high-end output there. I mean, that slider right there is ridiculous. We know the high end is there, okay? It's a matter of improving the low end. That's what we were just talking about with Justin Robleski. He is starting to do that. Look at that changeup. You saw that slider that just fell off the table. Then you just saw his changeup, and his fastball is explosive. I'm telling you, I've seen it with my own eyes. Very explosive. Keep your eyes on Jermaine Rosario in this reliever role. I'm telling you, this thing could hit big, and it could hit big faster than you think. So I'm super excited about Jermaine Rosario. Again, on the TikTok side, we have, I'm going to go ahead and type this in. We'll cover, let me type this in. It's going to be clunky. We will cover Fuller here in just a minute. He is in Rancho. So there you go. I got that comment on TikTok. So that is Jermaine Rosario. We're going to stay with Double-A Tulsa at the moment. I'm going to show you another reliever that has had a great year this year, that has hit 100 miles an hour and was maybe the best reliever in all the minor leagues for a long time. Now, coming into last night, this is Jason Cabrera. Look at the ride on that fastball. That is impressive. This is Jason Cabrera, and for the longest time, Cabrera was maybe the best pitcher in the minor leagues, just wasn't giving up any runs. And then coming into last night, his 2 previous outings were his only 2 bad outings of the year. He had 2 outings in a row that weren't very good, and so last night was a very nice bounce back for Jason Cabrera, who has his ERA down to 3.16, and he has given up 6 runs in just 2/3. So the 2 outings before last night, he gave up 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Prior to that, he had given up just 4 runs in 24 innings, and then he had the bounce back outing last night. So it was good to see Jason Cabrera, who was extremely explosive early on in the year, all the way up till about a couple of outings ago, probably the best pitcher, minor league reliever in the minor leagues, or one of them. Certainly good to see him bounce back last night. Hey, a very talented young man as we move our way to the high A Great Lakes level. As I get his video up on the board right here, Kendall George. Speed, baby. Hit the ball the other way. Just get your ass on base and move it down the line and use that speed. I love the way that Kendall George used his speed yesterday. You're getting ready to see a double right here, right? Well, this is actually a single. He tried to stretch this into a double and got thrown out right here. But I love the fact that he's pushing the envelope, because the double that you're going to see here in just a minute, right Well, no, this is a single here. See, he's using his speed there, and then let me back this up. You're getting ready to see his double right here, left center. Now, what human beings turn this into a double? I mean, the center fielder bobbles a little bit, but not much. And how in the world is that a double? That's because you have 80 grade speed. So you see him turn that into a double. You saw him get the infield base hit using his legs. He's slapping the ball to the opposite field, just trying to make solid contact and hitting line drives. And that is the Kendall George that creates the best version of himself and highlights his carrying tool the most, which is obviously his 80 grade speed. I mean, he just is an absolute blazer. He is about 3.8 to first base, which is incredibly insane. Here's another guy, Cameron Decker, to keep your eyes on. Had been injured all year because of the hamate bone break that he had to have surgery on it. Yes, it is good to see whatchamacallit, 71 speed. Big club lacks athleticism in a big way. Other than Hae-Sung Kim, I think that's another reason why he needs to be in the lineup. He adds speed too. At the younger ages, you got Zaire Hope that can run. You've got Kellen Lindsey who can run. You got a bunch. Well, I mean, Rancho Cucamonga is stealing more bases than anybody on earth. Jaron Elkins has something like 56 stolen bases already. We're actually going to get to him. Everybody, all those young shortstops are blazing fast. So you have a lot of dudes at Rancho that can run. You've got Mike Soroto that can run. Zaire Hope can run. Kendall George can run. Cole Myers is one of the fastest guys in the entire organization. He's at AA Tulsa. Esteri Ruiz, we see that he can run too. He actually pinch ran for Mookie Betts. So the Dodgers, that's a great point, whatchamacallit. The Dodgers actually have put a big emphasis on adding speed into their system, and they've done a good job of it. So Cameron Decker, a young man that got back, he's great at going the other way with pitches, but then also in hitters counts, he's really good at ambushing pitchers, and he has a lot. I mean, he has a world of pull side power. He grew up as a shortstop, so he's a great athlete. He played right field last night. He's played left field. He's played third base. He's played first base. So he is very, very versatile. I am very high on Cameron Decker. This is a guy at this moment, although the stats don't look like it, he hasn't been able to stack a whole lot of action at the minor league level together because he's been injured. As soon as he gets healthy, I put him immediately into my Rolodex because he has that type of potential, Cameron Decker. And another young man that pitched really well last night, Evan Shaw, who is a fantastic pitcher. He gets an atta-baby for last night. 3.2 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 4 strikeouts, no walks. ERA 3.25. This is a guy that isn't going to blow you away with RPMs on a spin or his fastball metrics or velo or any of that. But he's going to do exactly what Clayton Kershaw is doing right now, and that is he's just going to throw strikes. Yeah, and Jay says Jason Cabrera's delivery reminds him of Pedro Martinez. Yeah, I agree with you there. That's a good comp there, Jay, and that's a big compliment too. So Evan Shaw, he's going to paint the corners. He's going to change speeds like that. He's going to tunnel his pitches. He's going to make his changeup look like his fastball. He's going to sweep the ball away from lefties. He's going to locate, change speeds, and he's just going to piss hitters off all night long. And he's just going to, like there, see there, he's going to just get out his paintbrush. He's going to start painting, and then see there's a little cutter that's thrown at the exact same tunnel as the fastball, and that's how he's going to get outs, and that's how he's always going to be able to do it. I really like Evan Shaw. He had a really good outing last night, so I wanted to show you him on the Down on the Farm segment. Let me back up and get back to that comment from Jay. Jay says that Jason Cabrera has a delivery that reminds him of Pedro Martinez. So let's keep that in mind. Let's get back to Jason Cabrera and let's see it for ourselves as we keep that comment in mind. So here's the video of Jason Cabrera. Pedro Martinez is what Jay says in the chat. I agree, man. Which means that you have a lot of ass and elbows coming at you, which is not fun as a hitter to face. And that high riding fastball, man, that thing is legit. I've had a chance to see it with my own eyes, and that high riding fastball is super, super nice. So what do you think about the comment from Jay about at least the mechanical part of his delivery being compared to Pedro Martinez? I love that. Showtime says, I saw in the transactions Josue de Paula and Hope were placed on the temporary inactive list for the Futures game today. Think they will both go to Tulsa after the break. I think there's a good chance that one of them will, and that is because Jose Ramos got called up to AAA Oklahoma City. I don't think it would be both, although they have kept Kendall George. They started last year with Kendall George, Josue de Paula, and Zaire Hope together. They brought them up together this year, so they haven't separated them yet, but I do think one of them has a good chance of going up to Tulsa after the break, just because Jose Ramos moved his way up. Although they want Cole Myers to get all those at bats, because Cole Myers has been fantastic with AA Tulsa, and he might be the second or third fastest guy in the entire organization. Cole Myers is good, and if you haven't seen him play, you need to watch, because he is a good player. So as we move on, I want to move to one of the most talented, I mean, just raw talented young players in the system. Absolutely, yeah. We have a comment. Whatchamacallit, it says Pedro, no doubt. This is we're going to get to Jaron Elkins. Let me pull up his video from last night. Jaron Elkins. I mean, you talk about oozing with talent. He has on the year. Let's see. He stole a base last night. Let me get to this and see if I can get. He hit home run number 7 last night. 45 stolen bases. I was a little bit hot on the 56. 45 stolen bases for Jaron Elkins. That right there is home run number 7. He is the fastest player. I'm going to say this again. Sit down, get your popcorn. Jaron Elkins is the fastest player in the California League. That is not my opinion. That comes straight from Michael Inskog, who is the play-by-play voice for the Cicadas this weekend, because that's a promotion, but the single-A Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Jaron Elkins, absolutely put him in your Rolodex, not because he's ready to make the major leagues, but because he maybe has the best raw tools of any player in the organization. When you talk about speed, the ability to hit for average, the ability to hit for power, the ability to steal bases, arm strength, the ability to overpower opponents, Jaron Elkins has it. I love Jaron Elkins. He is just super, super talented. And so anytime I have a chance to show him on our Down the Farm segments, put him in the young prospects. So categorize your Rolodex. You have your Rolodex of guys like that are imminent, like we talked about with Jack Dreyer last year, that are pushing for major league time. Ryan Ward, that type of guy. Then you need to have a category of your Rolodex that's for the young prospects that no matter how good they do, they're still 2 or 3 years away from the major leagues. He is in that category. It should be in that part of your Rolodex, because it's going to be super fun to watch him develop. So the last guy we're going to cover on the Down the Farm segment, by the way, Mark Watkins was at Rancho last night for the second night in a row. And the guy that he mentioned that was the most impressive he saw all night was this guy, Ryan Brown. Ryan Brown, who has the Vulcan change, also has a fastball that can reach mid to upper 90s. Super impressive. So Ryan Brown, 2 innings last night, no hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, no walks, and just a very impressive arsenal. Lots and lots and lots of swing and miss stuff. I mean, he has, check this out. Ryan Brown, that young man you're seeing right there, 61 strikeouts in 34 innings. I mean, what? 64 strikeouts in 34 innings. That is just phenomenal. 31 innings for Ryan Brown. So that is our Down the Farm segment. I want to thank everybody for hanging in with us and listening about the prospects. If you have any more prospects, hey, Bruce Davis says, how's Manny game do they play? How many games do they play in the California League? I believe it's right at about 100. I think it's 140. Don't exactly quote me on that, but it's give or take that number there. And I'm not exactly sure though, but I think it's around 140. That's a great question. Matter of fact, I will research that, and I will leave that in a comment to this video here. Bruce Davis says he thinks Tanner needs to be a setup guy in the bullpen, although he's been a great closer in the past, and he has great stuff. So, hey, if you have any more comments, nope, Fuller, yes. Thank you for reminding me about Dale Rayburn about covering Aiden Fuller. He was not on my list, so I forgot. Thank you for that reminder. That came from on the TikTok side. So let's get to Aiden Fuller, okay? And it's going to be a little bit clunky because I'm not set up to talk about him today. So let's get his video up on the board right here. And as I get his video up on the board what I'm going to do is I'm going to research my last post about him. But Aiden Fuller is a young man out of Southern Illinois. He is another guy that has a ridiculous, I do mean a ridiculous amount of swing and miss in his stuff. So what you're seeing right here is Aiden Fuller pitch. This is actually from his last outing. I'm going to scroll down here because I have some really good information on him that I want to make sure and get to and talk about when we're talking about Aiden Fuller and his stuff. I may actually have to do a search, but I'm just going to scroll down here for just a second. If I can see if I can get to it to get to talk about him. That's Nico Perez, Eduardo Quintero, and then we're working our way down to our. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to give this just a second, and I'm going to do a search. It's going to be a little bit clunky. There may be here we go. I think I'm down to my rant. No, that's Sean McLean there. They're right here. Okay, I found it. Okay, so no more clunkiness. You caught me off guard there with Aiden Fuller, but I've got it right here. 96-mile-an-hour fastballs. That's a four-seam. Possibly hotter than that. I think he could probably reach a 7, maybe an 8. Okay? And so Fuller, it's insane swing and miss stuff. So how about this? He leads all of the Cal League with 98 strikeouts. He's done that in 66.1 innings. So 98 strikeouts in 66.1 innings. That is a wow. Aiden Fuller with that four-seam fastball. Big-time swing and miss stuff. The problem is, got to keep it in the strike zone. Like all these young power pitchers, got to keep in the strike zone. He has not been able to do that consistently enough to be somebody that you could say, hey, this guy's going to just skyrocket up the system, kind of like a Ryan Brown. But it's like Mike Linskog was talking the other day. As soon as he masters the strike zone, when you have stuff that leads the entire Cal League in strikeouts with 98, then watch out. He's going to be a weapon. So there's Aiden Fuller, and thank you so much for asking about him. Hope you enjoyed listening and watching him pitch. So, hey, that's going to do it for our Dodgers Dogs Day to today's show. I'm always exhausted at the end of these shows when I'm on by myself. I hope it wasn't too clunky enough as I try to manage all 5 different platforms, have video going on here and there, trying to also monitor 2 different chats. There's a lot going on here. So I hope it wasn't too clunky for you, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. You Dodgers Dogs, you know you're, as always, you're the absolute best out there. And hey, hopefully the Dodgers can get that first win of the series tonight. Get off that snide, create a rubber match for tomorrow. We'll all be rooting for that here in an hour or a couple of hours from now. So thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.